Hi everyone and welcome back to Healing Gems. I'm Gemma and I'm here to offer you advice and tips on how to progress with your healing journey from chronic fatigue. Before we get started, if you haven't already, please subscribe down below. That really helps me to get my numbers up and stop adverts coming in the way of the meditations that I offer as well. Okay, so this particular video is going to talk about food and diet and what we eat and how we eat in terms of helping us with our healing journey. So just put it as a caveat, changing your diet and diet alone isn't going to probably heal your chronic fatigue. Maybe it has for some people, but the majority of cases it's going to be something part of our holistic journey that we need to look at in order to minimize the stress and strains on our body depending on what we are consuming. So what do I mean by that? So we're going to look at what we eat in terms of the foods that best helps us to heal and how we eat those foods, because this can have a real impact on our body as well. So in terms of what we eat, obviously we want to have like a balanced diet with lots of fruit and vegetables and to get all of those nutrients into our body. But we want to be looking at making sure that the main meals we have a day, like breakfast, lunch and dinner, that we have protein and fat within those, and ideally animal product protein and fat, because the body just seems to be able to digest these better rather than sort of synthetic proteins that we can buy. But if obviously you're vegetarian or vegan, then you have to sort of like go along with what your beliefs and what you're doing at the moment. So in terms of what we eat, so we want the protein and we want the fat, we want large number of vegetables on our plate, little amounts of fruit, and we want to reduce the amount of carbohydrates that we are consuming. And when I say carbohydrates, I'm talking about pasta, bread, cereal, corn, potatoes, rice, all of those kind of things. You don't need to eliminate them from your diet completely, but you do want to reduce the amount that you're consuming in every mealtime, because these can really spike your blood sugar levels very quickly, and then that means they come also crashing down, and your body is then fighting to try and gain homeostasis and balance once again in the body, and it has to use a lot of energy up to do that. So we want to try and reduce the amount of carbs and starchy kind of foods that you consume and eat more vegetables and have this protein and fats, which is like longer lasting energy for the body. So in between those meal times, you want to also be looking at the snacks that you have. What you don't want to do when you have chronic fatigue is to go into hunger, because when we go into a hungry state, we start to produce more adrenaline and cortisol in the body, because our body's kind of gone into fight or flight. It's another stressor on the body. It's something the body perceives as danger, and in a healthy body you can get away with it. In a healthy body, a little bit of hunger, it's fine. But in someone who's got chronic fatigue, this bit of hunger has dramatic effects. And you might be a type of person, and I definitely have this, is be hypoglycemic, which is where your blood sugar levels drop right down. You can experience shakiness, you can experience like you're going to faint, you just feel like really unwell, which means that you really need to eat. So we want to try and avoid going into that, because it's putting a huge toll on the body, and that's energy that we don't really have to spend on trying to rebalance. So in between our main meals, we're looking to have little snacks. And these can just be very small amounts of food, like a handful of nuts. It could be a boiled egg. I find them to be really good in balancing my blood sugar levels and curbing hunger. It could be maybe a rice cake, a plain rice cake with some nut butter on. It could be avocado with nut butter on. You know, there's lots of little things that you can have in between your main meals in order for you to keep your blood sugar levels nice and constant, to avoid these dips and crashes where you're going to really need to use up energy to bring the body back to balance. We want to avoid that. So as I said, what we eat is equally as important as how we eat. So you're really looking to eat maybe every 2 to 3 hours, maybe especially at the beginning. If your chronic fatigue is very bad, the healthier you get, the more you can probably extend the times between eating, because your body is able to cope a little bit more and use that fuel up. And also when you eat, you know, make sure you're chewing your food, so you know your digestion is already starting to happen in your mouth, so it's less than work on the organs and the stomach in the body in order to process the food. So if you're a non-meat eater, then you might want to either, while you're trying to heal, consider introducing some meat products, but if that's a complete no, just be careful to keep an eye on your iron levels and your B12 levels, because when you don't eat meat, obviously you get a lot of those supplements from meat. And when you don't eat meat, this can really affect your iron and B12 levels, which can be quite dangerous if they do fall down quite low. So just be sure to keep an eye on them. And even for women who do eat meat, again, just keep an eye on your iron, especially if you are, approaching middle age, where, menstrual cycles, etc., are starting to change. Then that can have a dramatic effect on your iron levels as well, depending on what your menstrual flow and cycles are like. So that's just another thing just to watch out for. So I think that kind of covers looking at what to eat and how to eat. So to recap, every meal you're looking for some protein and fat in your diet. Because this is going to give you more sustained energy fuel. Reduce the amount of carbohydrates, reduce the amount of refined sugar that you consume, and try and eat every 2 to 3 hours. If you're worried about putting on weight by introducing all of these snacks, just reduce the size of the portions of your main meals, of your breakfast, your lunch and your dinner. These meals can shrink if you're having these extra snacks. But just listen to your body. Try to eat before you get hungry. The same as what I try and say with rest. Try and rest before you become completely depleted and you literally are falling down because you need to rest. This will help keep the body in balance. And this is really, really what we want to do with healing from chronic fatigue. We don't want to expel energy in areas that we don't need to. So please try to just, be a bit more vigilant and look at what you're eating and when you're eating. Okay, so I hope this helped. Any questions, please pop them below. Any ideas for other videos that you would like to see, again, please put them below in the comments. I'm always looking to try and create videos that, will be helpful to you and your healing situation. Okay, so bye for now.